The sound of silence means you are alone. But better turn around and check, just in case. Welcome to Night Vale. Hello, dear listeners. Fillies and colts of every age, that day is finally upon us. Printed Celestia, that banner of Princess Celestia given life and forgotten by the cold, uncaring hand that created her, has just received enough funding by the city council for her pride and joy. A bake sale. I do just love going to such places for just a little slice of home cooking. You know, the sights, the smells, the people. There's nothing quite like the feeling of community such a thing brings. Printed Celestia is currently gathering enough contacts and resources for the event set to occur later tonight. Stay tuned for more information as it develops. Over the weekend, an unknown but still nefarious government agency announced that they have recently purchased ownership of the Night Vale weather team. This came as a shock to the Night Vale Secret Police, who have retained ownership of the weather team since time immemorial. As you may know, the agency has been trapped in Night Vale ever since the Great War, a far cry from the Secret Police's own considerable years of service. Tensions are high and are expected to come to a boiling point during the playoffs, where their own respective hoofball teams fight to see who is greatest. I have been asked to remind all citizens that concessions have been raised by 5 bits across the board in anticipation of a game surely to go down in Night Vale history. Expect t-shirt launchers during halftime, along with caltrops and tear gas. Where has the Pegasi Emporium gone? Longtime retailer of all Pegasi goods and services for all of your everyday needs, Paracelsus Pegasi Emporium has stocked wing trimmers, gloss, elemental gear for those longer flights, explosive munitions for aerial raids, and calcium supplements for light and bone density. It's just not there anymore, and all that's left in its place is a sign that says,
"Sorry about that. Be back soon. Won't borrow this building for long. Here's something for the trouble."
Left around the sign were several blue carnations circling several heavy black gemstones reported to be wet and cold to the touch. Upon picking them up, Paracelsus was reported frozen in place, moaning, "Not again! Please, not again!" It is unknown if the Emporium has vanished in the past and has gone unnoticed by the many, many surveillance devices, or if the gemstones were forcibly recalling memories best left forgotten. So, apologies to my winged listeners, but it appears Night Vale is currently out of stock of some essentials. More on this story as I am made aware of it. Okay. And now a word from our sponsors. We know how much trouble it must be for young idealists trying to start their own businesses. Even after appropriate sacrifices at the Children's Museum's Bloodstone altar, there is still no telling if the hired help will be enough to compete with today's conglomerates. That is why we at Night Vale's free clinic have developed an experimental procedure to accelerate employee complacency, efficiency, and unequivocal obedience. In a series of 3 simple and yet extraordinarily excruciating procedures, a single brain parasite is inserted onto the spine. With this little guy, your employees may be reduced to dry, empty husks, but look at your figures soar as productivity is increased 100-fold. Head on down to the clinic today. Just bring a couple extra ponies along. We still have a few kinks to work out. My, is our little town bustling now or what? We've been getting a fair few guests over the past couple of months, and now another has been spotted beyond the shadowy figures atop the Black Plateau. He is a young, gentlemanly stallion with eyes sharp and movements quick. The blood of a soldier sings in his veins as he hunts the expansive desert for reasons unknown. With him are several small humming machines and a radio receiver. Are you listening to my broadcast, outsider? I do hope so. Be it a spark of hubris or something else, I can't help but feel a strange thrill as my voice is heard by more and more individuals. It brings me closer to my audience. You, my friends and comrades in this small town. But what is this stranger here for? Only time will tell, if time is real at all. The bake sale is ready and now in full swing in the empty parking lot outside the Blood Hotel. Printed Celestia has gathered all of the town's culinary talents, some of them including Honey Darling, Sweet Pea, Spring Heel of the Flaming Dragon Restaurant, that hooded shadowy figure that steals children, and a traveling band of gypsies. An auction for pies, cakes, and other baked goods will occur exactly 2 hours from now. I've even acquired some reports that a few griffins wielding their masterwork steel are stepping up for a chance to prove their worth to the town. And I must say that it is indeed an excellent idea. Aerobic and anaerobic individuals alike, this is a wonderful chance to get your name out there, or sample today's cooking selection. The sun has actually begun to set for once, and the night sky has been bleeding a wonderful crimson across the west horizon. The cool desert air, normally a freezing chill, is just enough to warrant heavier dress for the dying light. And I couldn't hope to have a better setting for a town's charity bake sale. However, I am getting reports of minor tremors coming from deep beneath Night Vale, with the epicenter very close to the bake sale. Now any responsible citizen would have checked the city council's earthquake schedule ahead of time for such an important event like this, but this very night was the only night that all of today's cooking talent had off for such an event. Just mind your step, Night Vale. I still encourage you to go to the bake sale, but as always, safety first. At least, the illusion of safety. For we are never truly safe. This week's reading program, as have all other reading programs before it, has been cancelled due to lack of funds and librarian maulings. Just to clarify, the librarians are the ones doing the maulings. No individual, pony or otherwise, has dared enter the Nightvale Municipal Library to challenge a librarian to hoof to amorphous limb combat and come out with their viscera not decorating the buttresses. The City Council issued the following statement from their book-proof conference room via a blind mute filly tapping on the glass with Morse code.
Like, who reads books anyway? We got the sky, the air, and we heard that there's some kind of food thing going on right about now. Books? Books are heavy. They give paper cuts and contain way too many things for everyone to remember.
Remember, children, knowledge can be painful. While what you do know can still flay you where you stand, at least you are not violating books' privacy if you just leave them alone. The Nightvale chapter of the Cult Scouts, the most active opponents to the ruling, refused to comment on the matter. Speaking of the children, controversy is back in the headlines as the PTA clashes with the school board. Once again, the issue of live fire exercises has been raised. The school board sadly noted that they hoped that their previous peace offerings were enough to settle any bad blood between the two organizations. While the two loaded weapons and called in secret papers, the deciding vote came from neither side. Knick-Knack, a 6th grader and member of the Nightvale Cult Scouts, proclaimed that he and all other students had more right than any other to decide the fate of the live fire exercises, as they impacted the students more than it would any adult. As a brief editorial, I agree with young Knick-Knack's assessment. Too often we get caught up in the adult matters of life and ignore the consequences that such actions will have on the younger generations. The students' opinions should weigh in on matters that affect them, guardians or not. We are here! We are alive! We have survived the cold, uncaring universe with the rest of the world, and are thusly given the right to have the respect of our elders and the extremes of berserker violence, he declared, an impressive feat when there was a bandolier of ammunition in his mouth. We must prepare to confront the everyday bothers and inconveniences of life. Although attacks from rogue killbots at the school have increased by 5% since last year, the PTA continue to oppose the live fire exercises, only to relent once the smell of fresh pecan pie and soft serve ice cream swept into the room on an errant wind. After much negotiation, the Nightvale Cult Scouts were allowed to both continue their exercises and retain point on the assault stemming from the science lab. All parties soon dismissed to attend the bake sale. 'Tis the season, and Pumpkin Jack has finally opened up his pumpkin patch to sell this year's crop to the masses. When questioned by reporters why it was opened at all, Pumpkin Jack stated that the pumpkins have had their fill of the local wildlife and the occasional transient and would be dormant for another year. After a sacrifice of several photographers just to be sure, the gathered press each took home their own pumpkins for Nightmare Night and for some fresh pumpkin pie baking. Since I am here in this booth, somebody please save me one of those little baby pumpkins. I can't help it, they're just so cute! Oh dear.
Listeners, I have just been given a report by one of the station interns. Do not go to the bake sale. Stay in your homes and lock your doors. If you have ears, cover them. If you have eyes, blind them. Stay inside and wait for the danger to pass. The rumbling was in fact not rumbling at all, but the marching steps of an invasion. The bake sale is currently under attack by hundreds, perhaps thousands of ravenous insects from deep within the earth. I do not know if they were roused by the revelry or the alarming scent of freshly baked goods. They may even simply be mimicking our own past as bloodthirsty conquerors. I do not know.
Some creatures are scuttling into town, and there are no secret police or government agents here to help us on this day, for they are all gathered at the stadium. I can already hear the violence and the screams as ponies, griffins, zebras, buffalo, and so many more fight for their very lives. Their blind eyes thrive in the coming night. They smell our fear as they come out from deep within their hives. What was that noise? Listeners? I hear something outside. As in something crawling on the radio tower exterior. Right on the other side of the recording booth wall. I'm not sure what it is. I hear something like a slow heartbeat, accompanied by some unearthly clicking. I am currently reaching for my keys in hopes I might be able to reach the station bunker in time. And if I don't, let it be known I love you all, and it was a great honor to serve as head of Nightvale Radio. And now I bring you to what I hope is not the last time, listeners, the weather. Stalwart protectors. Since before recorded memory, and even memory itself, our town has been protected by the powers that be. The secret police and the agency have shielded us from horrors such as learning and the creatures infesting our daily lives. But since both parties were at the stadium, new protectors had to rise in this time of crisis. Night Vale's own chapter of the Cult Scouts, taking advantage of their battle-hardened veterans' training and leadership, defended the bake sale at no small cost to baked goods, limbs, and their very lives. While Night Vale's ancient protectors were still settling the score at the Hoofball Stadium, these brave souls fought valiantly and with no small measure of courage. All I could do was just sit back and report. Stuck here in this little recording booth atop the radio station. Here I sat ever watchful, and yet so very impotent. Colts became stallions this night, and all we could do was watch as they protected us from the horrors of this world. Scouts Diamond King and Knick-Knack, along with Scoutmaster Rufus, were spirited away into the insect undercity as they repelled the insectoid invasion. 3 individuals have displayed courage and bravery far exceeding their station, and it is this news broadcaster's hope that one day Nightville may repay them for their sacrifice. To Diamond King, Knick-Knack, and Rufus, we honor your sacrifice and pray in our bloodstone circles that you may be returned to us. The remaining scouts have been awarded their Advanced Siege Warfare Badge. By their efforts, the bake sale was a resounding success. When the powers that be were not there to protect their way of life, they stepped up to the challenge. Parents wept and embraced their children for their bravery when they themselves hid under hidden things and ran faster than slow things. On this day, remember the sacrifice of the brave few for the many. Remember them. Stay tuned for the sound of remembrance, of hope, of fear, of acceptance. Good night, Night Vale. Good night. The voice of Night Vale was myself, Journeyman. The story was also written and produced by Journeyman. Welcome to Night Vale is a production by Commonplace Books. Music was provided by Disparition. All of it can be downloaded for free at disparition.info. This episode's weather was The Walls Are Movin' by Carbon Maestro. It can be found at thecarbonmaestro.bandcamp.com. Today's proverb: the early bird gets the worm, the second bird isn't eaten by the worm.
Oi! Hello everyone, this is Journeyman coming to you live from a shitty-ass sound room that is somehow smaller than my prison cell of an apartment. Oh, Piano Man, shut the fuck up! Oh, well, yeah, there's a Piano Man, consider it like a little hallway full of little sound rooms. He's just a couple of them away. Oh jeez, I can't talk right now either. So yeah, anyone could walk in at any moment, which wouldn't be so bad, considering, for one, I have My Little Pony crap scattered about the room. 2, I'm shirtless, and judging by my nipples, it's balls hot in here. And 3, no one knows that I'm here. But I need to actually use this in order to get my recording done on time. So hey, let's actually try to get this shit done. Books are heavy, they keep paper cuts, and contain way too many things to remember, man. Oh, jeez, that was shit.
'Tis the season, and Pumpkin Jack has finally... I almost died.
I was just about to start. You drummer, white trash, piece of shit.
And I must say that it is indeed a... Fuck, I hit my mic. Hello, dear listeners. Fillies and colts of every age, that day is finally upon us. Printed Celestia, that banner of Princess Celestia, given life and forgotten by the cold, uncaring hand that created... Gotta breathe. Printed Celestia is currently gathering enough contacts and resources for the event to set the... God damn it. Because we are here! We are alive! We have survived the cold... I have just this one part. Just this one part. Just this once. And I can fuck off. Shut the fuck up. I have been asked to remind all citizens that concessions have been raised by 5 bits across the board in anticipation. Even after a Cunt motherfucker bitch tits. Over the weekend, an unknown but still nefarious government agency announced that they have recently purchased... I do not know if they were roused by the revelry of... We're waiting on you, bud. Has stocked wing trimmers, gloss, elemental gear for those longer flights. Fuck. No. I've seen stories repeat words, but not people in real life. Christ. As a brief editorial, I agree with young Knickknack's assessment. I have gone to the Shatner School of Acting. Now, any responsible citizen would have checked the city council's earthquake schedule ahead of time for such an I love junk. Huh. Okay. And now a word from our sponsors. We know how much trouble... Voice crack. We are here. We are alive. We have survived the cold, uncaring universe with the rest of the world and are thusly given the... I have a headache in my eye.